Alright, this video is for my future self. It's been a year now since I've been in this space, and I'm thinking about my process and how I used to really shun away from documenting my process. There was a bug that got into my consciousness a few years ago, and it sort of festered subconsciously without me knowing how much I used to love my process, how much I used to love sharing my process and being proud of my process. But this bug got inside of my head, and it really is a, what do you call that when your computer is glitching because there's like a code? It's a bug, right? Like it's a bug that gets into your code. It's bugged out. And it's taken me a really long time. I mean, durational operations is relative, I suppose, but it's taking me a durational amount of time to decode this and to unplug the bug from my subconscious by addressing it and being aware of it and drawing awareness to it every time it comes up. I'm thinking about this song that I'm working on called Persephone, and it reminds me of when I worked on my second album, Everything is Pencil, and how haphazard is the word that keeps coming up, because it is exactly that. It has been a haphazard process where, like, okay, so for example, right, like normally if you track vocals, you normally will already have all the instrumentation down. You would, you would have a click track, and then you would track the guitar and then the bass and then the drums and then all that other stuff, and then you would do vocals. I'm reworking the song as I'm recording it, and so I'm re-recording guitar parts over vocal parts that don't align, and having to cut sections out and re-record those sections, and not even really know what I'm doing with chord progressions, but playing it according to how I feel it's sounding good, like instances. That's a crazy sentence, but I feel like you understand what I'm saying. And so this process has been really haphazard, and I'm thinking about the parallels with my life and how much this cleaning up process has showed me how incredibly unorganized my life has been. The message behind that is having to live through the situation so that I'm able to come back and deliver the messages to those who are also on a similar journey, and to give them insight and advice and guidance the best way that I know how. Why? Because we're all part of each other. And no matter who you are in my life at this point watching this video, I'm sure that there's nuggets of information and guidance that you can find helpful along your journey. I'm attending this content creator course with what's it called? Content College, Creator College, with June and Sean. And this is probably like my third time taking this course. It's a free like 4 or 5 day course. It's multiple hours in a day. And so I've cleared out my schedule so I'm able to really receive this info. I remember the first time I listened to the the webinar, the live webinar, I was so triggered multiple times. I remember I remember scoffing when they said the word inspo, and I clicked off immediately, and I was like, this is stupid. And then I like had to come back again and again to receive the information, because every time I kind of brushed it off. I like brushed off the importance of learning how to make good content, and what does it even mean to make good Jesus Christ. What does it even mean to make good content? Even though what content is triggering to me still a little bit, like I can still feel waves of resistance come up. But instead of giving into those areas of resistance and shutting down, which is what I normally have done in the past, I'm really sitting with this stuff, because this is showing me aspects of myself and my life that I've really tried my best to run away from. And so I'm journaling, right? And it's so interesting, like these cycles, things are like really beginning to open up in my life in so many different ways, like opportunities coming back again, asking me to revisit certain situations, seeing how healed I am now than I was a year ago, man, childhood trauma is so deep. Like, this whole time I thought, if I just worked a better job, if I just, like, figured out a way to make more money, if I don't know, got my stability back on track, everything will be good. But the more and more I'm realizing, the more I'm doing those things, the more I'm realizing that the real gold is healing my inner child and being able to be with her. And when I say child, I mean like me, like the me version. That's Mika eating. The me version from when I was a baby all the way till I was like, I don't know, like 25 or so, you know? They say 18, but I think that's a weird cutoff thing that American culture has somehow deemed appropriate for us to like legally be an I nah. We're still very much babies at that point. We are. 18 is only a few years older than 16, than 17. Our frontal cortex doesn't even develop until we're 24 fully. So where am I going with this message? A documentation of my process, because the bug had told me that my process was depressing. This is what someone that I valued a lot in my life told me one time, like, oh, your process depresses me. And so I internalized that deeply without even knowing. Until tonight, until I was listening to a podcast about writing and the process of writing. And a quote came up about, you know, how certain things that get logged into our brains are said from people that don't even remember saying them, and that our inner critic is a voice of someone else that, you know, doesn't even belong to us, which is true. So yeah. And then if you want to track that even more, you can track who said it and what organization they come from. And when I say organization, I literally mean organization from like an ancestral point of view or from a religious point of view, because these things still use their lineage beings, right? So let's say this person was this from this religion, right? And like this religion is tied to a principality that wants its own manifestations to come to pass. And so it'll latch itself onto beings that hold the space. Like, for example, I'm not Muslim, right? Like, no one that is in my lineage is immediately Muslim, but they will use someone close to me who is Muslim to try and, you know, impose whatever agenda they have onto me. And it's not even about converting me to Islam or anything like that. That I'm simply using this as a very vague but also very specific example to my life, especially when it comes to people in my life who are Muslim, and the instances and situations that have happened, circumstances I should say, that have happened in my life are very closely tied to people who are Muslim. Not against people who are Muslim at all, in any way at all. It's simply an example that I've chosen to use in this instance to illustrate my point about how entities and principalities use people to essentially, you know, try to get to us, I suppose. So yeah, so this individual was used by, you know, their organization and really try to implant an idea into my head. And so we have to be careful about what we, you know, what we consume and what we take in, but not even just from like a subconscious, but from like a conscious, like who's around us, who's, you know. Anyway, that's a whole other message entirely. So I don't really want to harp too much about that. Oh my god, my ankle. What else? The process of making the song Persephone and the systems that have been asked of me to create. I'm not gonna go into that too much. This is really a video for my own documentation purposes. And the waves, I don't know, I haven't finished reading that book by Virginia Woolf yet, but in some ways I can almost sense what she was writing about simply by living in this subliminal space. For example, I was journaling and I was hitting this like, and I thought I was alone right tonight. It's like 3:30 in the morning. I thought I was by myself, but you can hear voices outside. And I could stop the video and go outside and, say hi to the folks that I can't recognize all of their voices, but so these cycles, it's these and I know they don't even mean to do it, like it's not their fault, it's not anyone's fault that distractions happen or like things come in, but it is a point to an energetic force that can be seen and felt as opposition, because I was literally getting to like the gold of my journaling, and like I was really in it, and then I heard the door open and somebody walked by and they opened the door to go to the bathroom, and so it really took me out of this space, which is why the hours of like 1 to 6 in the morning are so important for me, to be awake and to be in complete silence, because it is only in complete silence that I'm able to like truly reach depths that I'm unable to reach here, at least. What else? Spaces and their functionality. What was I journaling about? Oh, about going all in. Yeah. This. And what does it mean to really try? Like, what does that look like, and what does that feel like, and what does that mean for my life to really go all in to whatever it is I choose to go all in into? In this instance, and I'm even like hesitant to even share what it is I'm really going through right now, because there's so many parasitic that's the word, parasites, not bug. I was thinking of the word, I was like, what's parasites? These like parasitic entities that tend to ruin things that are good in my life as soon as I speak about them. And maybe simply me just like reinstating that fact again, causes them to do exactly what it is I say. And so maybe in some sort of alchemical sense, we can, what's the word when you go back? Not retract, not redact, but we can, yeah, I guess like not redact, we can reverse engineer the curses in our lives by speaking positively into spaces that we know have a history of replicating damage. That was smooth. That was well said. Well done. This song Persephone has really, I was last night or last, why whenever, these last few days, okay, this, I can't, you see, even speaking about this song is making me like go into a frenzy. I wrote this song in such ease the first time I wrote it. Like I hit record, I was playing a couple of chords, and the song just came out of me. Like most of my really good songs come out of me immediately. I'm crying, and it's a purging process. And then what I normally have done over the last 18 years when I've been writing music or more is like simply I store it away, or like it gets chucked as a voice memo. It's only in the last like 4 or 5 years that I've actively been going back and going through these voice memos and transcribing them, sorting them, organizing them, and then reworking them and producing these singles that I've been releasing over the past 2 years now, consistently. This song, however, to reproduce this song, meaning like I have to listen to the raw voice memo and figure out the chord progression, because I barely talk about what chords I use when I play, because I'm not thinking about that. I'm simply making the song. Having to figure out what chords I use, what the strumming pattern is, and what other instruments I hear, and all the other stuff that goes into production of a song has taken me a really long time. And not in the long time of like, let's say a song like Hollywood, for instance, it literally took me 10 years to make, but I wasn't actively working on the song. I think it must have taken me like 2 or 3 weeks that I like actually get the song, complete. And even so, yes, it was really challenging, but this is a different type of challenging. Persephone has been a really, because it's not just about me sitting there and figuring out how to play the song and redoing the takes and editing the parts and comping and all that stuff that goes into making a track. This has made me want to crawl out of my body, and I end up spending a lot of time reading about Persephone, and then like going down a deep rabbit hole about Greek mythology and the different stories that are connected to her, and the thematic explorations of Hades and the underworld and the seasons and her relationship with her mom and the mother's love. And I'm just like, oh my god, this is opening up so many fucking gates right now. I don't even want to get into it. Like, I really don't. But the song is requiring me to do exactly that. I'm having a hard time even articulating this process, and like I'm getting like tired, like I'm getting like exhausted going into it. I have sat at this desk for, let's say, like 45 minutes reworking a part of this song, and then and then it's the level of exhaustion that comes over me. I've never experienced this level of exhaustion working on a song like this. Never. This is like, that's why I this is great promo. This is check out the song when it's done type shit. But fuck. It's hard. This has been a really, I'm at the very last bits of this track, thank God. But help me. Here's all I can say. There's so much more I want to speak about, honestly, tonight, and things that have come up. Being back in the van again tonight, getting things organized and put up and cleaned out. And I saw a video, oh my god, this part, I saw a video of me moving into this space last year and how much shit I had all over the place. I'm looking at my space now and I'm like, yeah, I can visibly see how much cleaner my life has gotten. Like it is both felt and it is seen. It's cleaner, it's less, yeah, there's still like, little bits of stuff here and there, but overall, like, I know some of these drawers are completely empty. Like, I don't have 4 QB things anymore. Now I have 2. Like, I don't have a piece of furniture that is not being utilized. Man, it feels really good. So I'm really proud of myself for getting myself to this part of the deal. There's still work to be done, but in like the best way. And I'm really looking forward to documenting my process even more. I'm thinking about how long it took me to quit smoking officially. It took me 5 years to quit smoking officially. I haven't had a cigarette since 2020, January 1st. And even if you paid me, honestly, well, $1 million is quite a lot of money, and I already have a house in mind that I want to buy. So maybe I would smoke a cigarette for $1 million, right? Like, sure, I'll smoke a freaking cigarette. But to be addicted to that again, to allow myself to be addicted to that substance again, it's sort of like, sometimes things take a really long time. Oh, this is gold. I can feel it already. Okay, sometimes things take a really long time. And I know I spoke about durational operations as being relative, but follow me as long as you can, okay, on this train of thought. Choo-choo. All aboard. Okay. Sometimes things might take a really long time, but the roots that are being grown inside the ground are so strong now that like even a hurricane couldn't uproot this. Yeah, it took 15 years to grow this oak tree, but this oak tree is not going anywhere. Like, I'm not gonna get tempted by a good time to sacrifice the work that I've done on myself and my psyche to not choose things that harm me anymore. As much as I can. And it's a test, like all these new relationships that come up, or like friendships, or like situations that I find myself in, whether it be work or professional or artistic or creative or whatever it is. Choosing myself will always reap me rewards that there's no way to even quantify the rewards. It doesn't even translate as like money in the bank, as it being the ultimate form of abundance. Like time with Mika, abundance. Like being able to pay my bills, abundance. Like having a body that moves, abundance. Like having friends that offer me things that are good for me, abundance. It's like every time I choose myself, it's Ichiban ramen. Sí, bueno. I have glue on my yellow pants. I'm really sad. I really like these yellow pants. I got these yellow pants when I was living in the woods. And I dropped a little bit of hot glue. That was funny too tonight. At the very end of putting up the rest of the blanket on the walls, I started burning my hands a lot. Like throughout, I was probably in the van for like 2.5 hours putting up, like finishing up the walls, like the wall panels. And towards the very end, I was like, why am I burning so much? This hurts. And this is a pattern that I've noticed in my life, that it's, let's say something, oops, oh my god, it's a 20-minute video. Let's say something is like, okay, so 4/4, right? Take 4/4 for instance. It's always 3/4 of the way through that something really challenging would happen. Maybe that's like a theme. Maybe it's this constant smoothing out of the 3/4 time signature, I guess, if you take it as a metaphor for life, that I have to move through. Because most of my songs are waltzes too, like they're in 3/4 time beat things. I don't know. I haven't say anything anymore about that. I don't know. But like, so long as I get through, like right now I have like a little bit left of the walls to get through. I don't know where I was going with that bit, but oh, the roots. Sometimes things take a really long time. Okay, this is like I'm gonna like end the message and the video here after this message again to reiterate my point about it taking time, okay, to like not like we hear these things to like not rush the process. You can't rush the process, all that stuff. But for it to be relevant in our own lives in a specific way for us to understand is a whole different situation. Like don't be a people pleaser is one thing, but learning how to not be a people pleaser in my life and who I was pleasing and the ramifications that came with, it's a whole different situation. It might take a long time, but allow the roots to grab onto unmovable fractions. I don't know why that. Allow your roots to take shape. Okay? It's gonna be worth it. In the 5 years, right? How many times I said, I'm gonna quit smoking, I'm gonna quit smoking, I'm gonna quit smoking. My best friend made me 2 cakes. One of them was in the shape of literally a cigarette that said, stop smoking. I think it's like quit smoking or something, like, or like no smoking or something like that. I have a picture, I'll like share it and when it comes up again the next time I see it in my album reel. Like, packets thrown, declarations made, announcements, parties held, me quitting smoking, but it didn't actually happen until it did. And sometimes these things, you won't even know when they will happen. One day you might wake up and you're just like, oh my god, I'm done with this, you know? But it took me 5 years of journaling and actively wanting to do this and going on the runs and cutting out my alcohol and having a relationship with myself in a new way for me to even love myself more than I did before, to allow clarifications and downloads to come through. It's like, why would I even want something like that to hurt myself? Like, these realizations will come up the more you sit with the thing that you actually want, the thing that you know is better for you. But you have to want it. That's the only trick, is that you have to want it bad enough to sit with the uncomfortable, to get back and to try again and to do it again until it gets done. That's all. That's the message. I leave you here with that image of the oak tree being unmovable in a hurricane, and how to never be afraid and ashamed of your process. The bugs, parasites are there for a reason. Use them to your advantage and then get rid of them for good. They'll leave your body eventually because they can't feed on a host that is toxic to them, you know? You gotta be toxic to the parasites. I just made a hole in my pantaloons. These are definitely on its way out. All right, y'all. Gang. Can't remember the game. Angel Gang? Shout out Angel Gang. All right, everybody. I'll check in with you guys later. I don't know when I'm gonna make another video like this, but it felt good to come on here tonight and share this. So, au revoir.